Well, guess what? Here we are again with Field Archaeology 101. And I look more forward to these than you do. And I'm not being facetious here at all. Um, you guys are family, and I love passing on what I've learned. And I'm not the final source, and I'm not the one that knows it all. I'm just bringing my years of walking in the fields and just like you, reading, going to conferences, studying, a little bit of back education, but I'm bringing my best. And I reviewed the last video before I came today, and I saw two or three mistakes that I made. I'm human. I'm like you. We all make mistakes, and so I just want to clarify something on Hafted scrapers. They did not appear big time in the woodland time period. Actually, it was in the middle late Archaic time period where they really took their stand and became very prevalent. But again, like you, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm sharing, and we do the best we can. And when we fall down, we get back up and we bring our best and give it to one another. So, welcome to Field Archaeology 101. I'm Mark, and I've got a lot of things to share today. I'm going to start off with a couple good reads, and I hope to do this frequently because some of us are getting older, and then there are those of you who simply just can't get out and walk anymore, but your love, your passion is still there, and there's ways that you can contribute. So I want to start with two great books, and I'm just going to point to them right here on the table. These are, I believe they were published in 2018, somewhere during that time. Recently, I had the opportunity to talk to the professor that put these two together. Um, I call him Dr. Joe Gingrich. And oh my goodness, what a personable guy, which just transcends everything I've always felt and thought about academics. It was fun. He was knowledgeable. Um, he wasn't better than thou. He was just level ground and shared his passion and what he's working on. And that's what I want to talk to you about. And because I think in the back of all of our minds, there's an interest in the first people who were here in the Ohio country or in the central United States or just in North America. And I think the umbrella right now is what we call the Paleo time period. And I know we're pushing it back earlier and earlier with pre-Clovis, la 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 la, but I still feel really comfortable calling that the Paleo umbrella. So over here, I put the information on Joe in the Eastern Fluted Point tradition. He's a professor at Ohio University, which is way down in southeastern Ohio. And he has volumes. There's two volumes, and I'm thinking he's probably going to be looking at a third here pretty quick. Now, here's what some of you can do. Um, he is putting this third one together with a very, very comprehensive survey of the fluted points, not just of Ohio, but of this part of the U.S. and people from Ohio especially. If you have any paleo material at all that you have found, give him a call at Ohio University and let him talk with you about it. He may say, can I have a picture? He may say, where did you find it? And don't panic. You can certainly say Ohio, Athens County, um, and maybe if you're comfortable, the township, but he's not going to say, put your finger on the farm. Good guy, and I think he understands why. So new books, enjoy. I have been enjoying them immensely. A lot of my reads have been on end scrapers because we find so many of these on all my sites, and it's very obvious that we're dealing with different time periods, and I'm trying to hone in on what time period. I just finished spotting through volume 1, and what he did is he selected 5 beautifully pure paleo sites and did a serious review on all 5 of them. In the second one, he's opening it up more to more pure paleo sites in more areas, going into more depth, more pictures of the material off of each site. It's just what we've been waiting for, but it came out years ago. All right. Hey, you are doing what I'm doing. You're getting out in the fields. I'm chewing on a mint right now, so if I'm clanking with my teeth, I don't have the option. I have to, because this time of the year I'm just from all the cold and the wind. And yesterday it was in the 70s. I was in a t-shirt. Today with the wind chill, it's in the low 30s and raining. So if you're able to get through all that stuff, it's really time to get out there. Still on the front edge in Ohio, especially this part of Ohio. No plowing yet. The field we went into was chiseled maybe a week or so ago, but for the most part, none of our fields have been touched up here. So what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about getting out. So some of this will be repetitive, but it's important to me that I cover these. First and foremost is with your field walking, there are no exceptions. Get get permission. You don't necessarily need written, but don't go in there without it. That's just your personal integrity, and that's the best you have to offer to this world is your integrity. Don't compromise. Some reminders: if you're finding triangles, and we're going to look at one of my frames here with triangles that I just found. Lots of triangles equals pottery, and you can almost count on that in this part of Ohio. And I'm willing to bet it's that way in many other states. Context: when you're out in your field, don't lose sight of this. Something that you see, a rock or whatever, does this belong here? For me, when I'm finding glaciated in unglaciated soil, it's got my attention. Or when I find southern Ohio sandstone in my county, in my area where I'm hunting, that doesn't belong, it's got my attention. Context: does it belong here? Um, Multiple small points. When I say small, it's way under an inch, half an inch or smaller. Multiple little guys usually equals a village. And if you are thinking a village, let's see, Butler, Ohio, maybe 1,005. No, a village could be like 10, 12 people, 18 people, 28 people. These villages were not like what we have today. They were much smaller. But but the way you're going to hunt your site will be very much related to: is it a camping site? Is it an overnight site? Is it a just passing through site where I tend to find my celts and very few, but a few hammerstones, versus a village where I begin to find slate and other material? I hunt them differently. And then I wrote down FCRs, fire cracked rocks, something to get familiar with. And I brought three in real quick. And what you're going to see is the outer natural portion of the rock, and yet each rock was shattered. Each one of these was shattered. And these came off of some very good sites that I have. When I find my FCRs, I know I'm close to fire pits, and I'm going to slow down. I'm going to walk differently, and I'm going to turn over every fire cracked rock and rocks in general. And with the rocks, remember what I said: color, shape, size, texture. I'm going to show you a few things in a minute that I picked up yesterday on that basis only. Okay, so FCRs. Walking, and I did this yesterday. It was sunny, it was a bright sun. And so I would walk, and then when I was finding a lot of chips, maybe a few blades, I would stop, get low to the ground, and look backwards and silhouette. And I was picking up so many things that I simply didn't see when I was walking in the original direction. The sunlight, the way the sun hits and reflects, um, just varies tremendously. So these are just some pointers as you get ready to go out and walk. Um, with the sun, I've said this, but I will keep on saying it. You want to maximize your eye's ability to see the ground. So if it's sunny, wear a ball cap. If it's not sunny, your eyes need all the light they can get so that the pupils are able to take in everything they need to see. So ball cap when it's sunny, no cap if it's heavy cloud, overcast, whatever. And finally, one of the members of our chapter, and someone who's a close friend and gets out and kicks around in the fields just like me, discovered that, hey, guess what? The sap has come back to the poison ivy. And so I want you to have a good experience. And depending where you live, if you're Ohio River, we have poison oak. If you're down uh, south, you have everything from greenbrier to other weeds that want to eat you alive. So just be aware. And up in this part of the United States, everything is coming alive. And that means the sap is coming back out of the roots. Be careful. Be careful. Um, and so what I did, I brought, and I want to call this to your attention in particular, is that really now, before they plow, is the time to get out. And I'm saying this jurisprudently because I know this is going to get people out in my area. But this is the time. The stuff that's there has laid there, been washed out, freeze and thawed, pushed up all winter. The mulch, the chopped up crops has been washed away. Things are showing, and ultimately you want to get in there and really cover it well before they begin to plow or disc or chisel, whatever they're going to do. So um, my rule of thumb is April is the time to get out. And so if you haven't gotten out yet, get ready to rock and roll. So now we're going to take a look at some things that I brought. I want to start with this frame, and I'm going to comment that my frames are put together for my benefit, not your benefit. For my benefit, and not all the people that belong in my chapter, my archaeology chapter. When I look at my frame, it's a reminder of what's in that field. It helps me rethink how I'm going to be walking it and what I need to look for in particular. And so this is a field that I was in just probably close to 2 weeks ago. But look at this, a really neat, what we call a thumb scraper here in Ohio. It fits the thumb perfectly, and the retouch is nearly all the way around it. A thumb scraper. That's really nice, and I think most of us lean toward the woodland, early, middle, late woodland time period for these. And this is even better yet. Man, I really want you to see this. I'm going to try to run it with my pen. Piece of slate. Actually, the slate was laying like this, and I picked them up, turned them over, and here you can see where they scored it and snapped. And right here, they scored it and they snapped it. Why is this important? It's important because they're not going to be doing this on a campsite, on an overnight campsite, or a weekly campsite. As small as a village site might be, this is evidence that you want to walk and look at that area a little bit differently than you have in the past. So you're finding clues that are talking to you, that are trying to guide you in the way you approach your field. And it turns out this particular field does have a good amount of hopewell and Adena in it, okay? And the other stuff is just letting me know what's coming out of the field. In this area, a blade or bladelet, they're not long. They can be wide, they can be narrow, and most of them are running an inch, give or take. And so these are kind of what you're looking for. Then you get flake knives. And you get pieces and parts of broken artifacts. Don't know what they were, but they are what they are. Broken artifacts. And one more thumb scraper right here. A little bit bigger, more than likely late archaic, early woodland. Okay, so a couple thumb scrapers. Again, we're going to bounce around a little bit. I'm going to run you through some frames. We'll come back with the hardstone tools that came out recently. This is here because this is what I use. It's about 8 by 12. All of you are already using frames or thinking about getting frames. This is the one I recommend because if you get the bigger one, actually the logistics of the construction are not such that if you put weight in it and you pick it up, you're going to damage it. It's eventually going to break on you. They just weren't made to hold artifacts. And I know some of you have those already, but I say special attention to this size, okay? Different fields. This was yesterday, by the way. And this is a field with lots of triangulars, and ta-da! This is the only whole one that I got out of there, but doggone it. This is Coshocton, Ohio flint. This is one of the biggest flint resource areas for not only Ohio, but surrounding areas where they came in the field. Look at these. I don't know if you're, well, I'm going to let you look at them. take a few seconds, ask yourself, what am I looking at? If I flip them, you see you're looking at bifaces. And I believe what you're looking at is various stages or levels of triangular preforms. So anyway, this field is full of these. Come back over here, lots of blades, all different size blades. On a village site, most of them are going to be broken because they used them and they pulled them out and pitched them where they were using them. I have not even started to go through this stuff yet. These were things that I just saw as I dumped everything on a table. And again, you have some micro tools, you have more blades, and just some flake knives. And this is exactly what I expect to find on a village site. This is another field. The end of last week, bingo, these came out together. They were just laying in a straight line where this guy he disked it a little bit deeper. And I talked to you earlier about a cache. A cache can be a gathering of rock, of shell, beads, preforms, but either way, those were part of a little cache that came out. And then my one and only, and this is a lot of fun, and you guys are all going to have your opinion of that. I will tell you the base is heavily ground, and the either side of the base is rounded and it's tipping down. The notch is heavily polished and it's kind of wide. Lenticular is thick. Just throwing it out there. My opinion is it could be a expended fish spear that would have been much longer and a little bit wider, just used down to where they pitched it. And then some of the flake tools and blades that came out of the field. Let's slip over here. And we'll go through these pretty rapidly. Another field with lots of blades, lots of flake tools, lots of midsections. This is a mega village site. And you're going to see in here the base of a broken drill. You're going to see an ashtabula. You're going to see a late archaic piece and lots of different things and blades. Great site coming all the way up here. This was also part of the same field. Gorgeous, gorgeous little Flint Ridge thumb scraper. Well, it's not the traditional type of thumb scraper, but I think he goes into that category. Coming all the way up here, this is a different site. This farm has two terraces. This is the lower terrace, and you're going to see a lot of blades. This is leaning toward late Paleo, and then just some broken bases and a lot of flake knives and a lot of blades. So this is already this spring for me. I've been in 6 of my different fields. I've got the sniffles from being out when I should have stayed home. Okay, let's wind up down on this end of the table. And for me, this is some of the fun. And this is where I challenge myself to see if I'm learning, if I'm growing, if I'm being patient in the field. And I hope so much that when you get out there, that it's beyond the night before Christmas, that it's kind of like, okay, I've arrived to the Willy Wonka Arrowhead factory. Now I can settle down, take my time, relax, and just thank God that I have a place to walk and enjoy it. I'm going to start with this one. This was a yesterday, and it was laying like this in the field. Probably about this much was showing. And I saw it, and I said, well, that's plow damage right there. My brain is thinking this. But it's looking at the sandstone and saying, this is not sandstone that I find in this county. Context doesn't belong here. For that reason, I'm going to dig him up. And I carry a trowel, just like I'd like you to do. Put it in your back pocket, use it when you need it. I dug him out of the ground, and I rolled him over. Bingo! Oh, this is so exciting. This has been just beautifully put in there. It is not typically the cupstone that you would expect to find. Much broader, much bigger. In this part of Ohio, usually they're a lot narrower. They can be many sizes, but rarely do you find one this big. But look at this puppy, right in the middle of this giant piece of sandstone that's not even from my county. But context didn't belong. Texture, I knew I had sandstone. And then I flipped him, and boy, I got a cool tool right here. And again, we'll try to go through these quickly. This was yesterday. This was in an area where I was finding FCRs. I saw this. I thought, okay, FCR popped it. I'm going to roll him over. But I want you to look at geometrics. See how this is rounded? Flip him. Whoa. See how smooth and flat this is? And the brake. This is not a plow brake, but it was in the area where I was finding FCRs. Would you have picked this up? This is the pole end of probably a celt. Really hard stone. This is igneous rock. Neat piece right here. It was showing just like that. I knew I had slate, not a big deal. I turned every piece of slate up, popped him out of the ground. I'm like, okay, he's been pecked here. Look at him on this side. Well, this piece is whole. He's been polished. He's getting some geometrics here. But what the heck is it? Don't know. You're going to have so many don't knows. But at least be able to say, I know I have an artifact. This was yesterday. So I'm letting you think. I'm letting you start saying in your head, well, this is this. I'm going to flip him. I'm going to give you a clue. This is slate, not flint. It's like a slate biface. Are you kidding me? This little breakage right here occurred when they had it. The break has been smoothed out. What in the world? Okay. This right here is what was showing, just like that. Color and texture. Look like slate. Color, it comes out of the ground. I dug him out. Whoa, look at this, a giant cone from the initial hit. And when I got looking at this, there's little bits of retouch around the sides, with that being the exterior part of the rock or the cobble that probably came out of a river and brought up to this village site. This was laying like this in the field. And I had a friend walking with me. I said, well, I'm going to dig it out because it's a big piece of flint and we're just finding a lot of retouch in this area. So I dug him out. Yeah. Holy moly. What are we looking at? Can you see it? Do you know what we have? In my area, we find a lot of them. And I get as excited about the first one as they do the 20th or the 50th. But this is Coshocton flint. This is a heavily used hammer. And then you're going to find things that you scratch your head. On a village site, this doesn't belong. It's sand and very, very light gravel and soil. This just simply didn't belong there. I want to say it has geometrics. So these are either made by Mother Nature or prehistoric people shaping them. But what I know for a fact that is on my village sites, I find these. Do I know what they're using them for? No. Do I find polish and grind on these? Most of the time I do. Sandstone. All you folks who have years of walking, how often do you find really fine sandstone sculpted into a ball like this? Not a whole lot in my area, but there are real light concussion or percussion hits on this thing. Beautifully shaped. Again, this is an incredible village site that it came off of. This guy, I took 3 feet into the field and did a retake, and this is the way it was showing. This part of it and right here. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just stepped into the field and there was a hammerstone. Color, okay, is big. Texture, I saw the peck compounding marks, right? Really nice hammerstone. Over here, you hear me use the word geometrics a lot, and that just means that the way it's shaped or formed, there's some geometry there. And nature does that sometimes, and man does it a lot. Artifact or geofact? Well, I'm on a village site, and this could be on there, but not really because it's soil, it's sand, small gravel. Looking at it, it's the right color, flipped them over. Oh my goodness. This thing has been polished to a perfect horizontal plane here. And better than that on that is another one. The sand polished really well, kind of a little bit of a hump. Let's flip him. Just a beautiful plane. Do we know, at least I don't know, I'm not equipped with microscopes to really look at these things and figure out the wear and what the wear indicates, if they were doing this on a flint dried hide or if they're doing this on a wooden product. I don't have that knowledge. Over here, this is one that I brought and had in, and it may be on an earlier video. This is what we call a pitted stone. A pitted stone, the cup is spread out, and there's no apex, there's no center to it. It's just spread out, used a lot. Here's the other side, and this is the way it was looking in the field. Now we have some mineral oxidation that took place. No big deal. I see that a lot on rocks in my field. Igneous rock, village site, doesn't belong up on the terrace. Rolled him over. Okay, and there we go, a pit stone. This guy was yesterday. No, it was the day before yesterday. Doesn't belong on the site. Looks like a river rock or somewhere, something that they carried in. And I popped him, I rolled him over, and I'm like, okay, we got a little bit of alteration to this. And so now I need to make a decision. Am I going to lug it out of the field? Or am I going to just say, nah, I don't think so. So when I examined this, I looked at the plane that's already there, looked at the plane all the way around, and I can see that this was put in on the initial surface. This was not part of part of the package. This was added later on a village site, and it's, again, everything on a village site gets turned. You saw this one a while back, but in my county, again, texture, color, this is that sandstone that does not belong at all in my part of Ohio. And for that reason, I popped them out of the ground. I wiped it with my fingers. I'm seeing all kinds of alterations on here that are not geologically done. These were artificially done by man. And so ultimately, what did it do? It made this sit flat and level. The next quandary would be the concavity on this. And with a lot of examination, we discovered that the polished edges went right down into the concavity, and that this was prehistorically done right here. Do we know what we have? No, we don't. But get this out of your head. A lot of concavities were not full of liquids, or weren't full of paint to paint themselves. You know, there could be pollen, there could be seeds, there could be 101 different things in here that are dry elements. Yesterday, again, on a village site up on a plateau, not near the river. Even if the river flooded beyond its wildest dreams, it could have not got in there. A lot of times things are brought in, cached, used, maybe not used. But just because it was near a fire pit, it was up on the village site, didn't belong, I flipped him. Okay, now I need to examine this. Is this a plow strike? Is this a disc, farm tool? Or is this prehistoric? And that tells me what I got right here. I'm not going to tell you what I came up with on this, because I want you to start figuring this stuff out on your own as well. Two last items. This one looks like a big chunk of rock, right? Except one problem. There is no flint up on this site. It all had to be carried in. Why would you carry a hunk of chunka like this from a ridge top, which is probably a quarter to half a mile away, a chunk of flint just to drop on a village site? Well, maybe it was a little bit bigger, and they were knocking giant blades off this guy. Okay, we have a platform right here. This is the exterior part of the flint right here. It may have been just a piece that was on the surface that they grabbed and brought with them, but they recognized it as a piece of flint they could work with. And so I think what we have is simply an expended hunk of flint that they brought down to the village site. They knocked off what they could, especially this side, and the rest expended, just left there. Last but not least, believe me, I got tons that came in this spring. Recognize the color, shape, size, texture, color, texture. Flip him. This is the way it was laying in the field. I knew immediately that I had slate, uh, and all slate on my village sites gets popped. This guy got turned, and this is high polish, highly polished, all this is prehistoric polish. You can see their different size grain sand that they used in the polishing process. Do I know what I have? I do not know what I have, but I know this, that I have, to me, they're treasures. To me, every one of them has a story. To me, every bit of this makes up somebody's life, some people's lives from a time long, long ago. Stories, stories. And this is where you get together with your friends. You sit down and you pass away the winter weeks and months, and you say, guys, what's going on? Um, Man, I'll tell you what. Thank you for being with me today. I love it. I missed you guys. We'll try to get more videos out a little more often if we can, but it's also time for us to head to the fields too. So check out Joe's book. Several of us kind of lean stronger on volume 2 than volume 1. I would say get the set. The guy's a great, a very good archaeologist, and he's a lot of fun. He's got both feet solid on the ground, and he's there to help, and he's trying to put a really significant survey of fluted points together. It's time. It's been a long time since a good survey has been done on these things. And I think he said initially the first one in Ohio yielded less than 800. Now we're up around 2 or 3,000. Um, but he's trying to show the magnitude, the full scope of these fluted points now, not just in Ohio, but in this part of the central United States to the East Coast. He would like to hear from you. There's his info. I'm your friend Mark, who's just spending a little bit of time with you. Gosh, I hate to let you go, but I gotta. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for being a part of the class. Bye bye.